Enterprise Edition and the advantages you gain by using Enterprise Edition. Our users complete many repetitive tasks like importing and exporting data, dumping and restoring, data comparisons, and many other regular tasks that they do on a normal basis. DBeaver allows to automate these tasks, make them faster and more convenient. In this workshop, we'll discuss insights for DBA, software developers, QA teams, DevOps, web dev teams, and many more. Today, we'll discuss the practical work and more about our products. Today, we will demonstrate everything in Enterprise Edition. If you don't have that installed, you may want to try and download it here in the beginning and grab try a license key to start, or you could do it in Community Edition if you're going to follow along, but there's going to be some features that aren't available. Today, we'll learn about the features in DBeaver that can save time for routine operations, what operations can be automated, how to create and execute these automated simple tasks. Then we'll look at the pro features to create a composite task that performs a sequence of operations and how to schedule tasks to launch automatically based on a schedule. Some common tasks you can automate are data imports, allowing to quickly load data from a file or table, exporting data to backup or to create reports, SQL script execution to perform backups where tools are not available. You can also run shell commands to perform common operations on other tools and data comparisons to report on changes in data. Task management is available in our community and enterprise products. Composite tasks and scheduling of tasks is available in our enterprise products. And let's jump into the software. So we're going to start out here. I'm using Enterprise Edition, and you can see here I have the task window open already at the bottom with some example tasks. So we're going to step through looking at a basic data export and also an import, and then we're going to work into building a composite task and then running this composite task on the schedule. So we'll see that I have some example tasks here. So let's look at an export task. So in this export task, I would be exporting the demo list tables from my SQL server. And I would be exporting it to a CSV file. Some basic information about the operation, how we're going to query that information. And since we're saving it in CSV, we're going to look at, here are our defaults for saving it, and then where we're going to save it to. So for this one, it's going to be saved as the file's name into this folder. And then we could run the task and we see that it completed. Now we'll look at a quick import task. And here we see we're importing into this table. And we're going to import a CSV file. And we would pick a file and pull it into that list group and our same CSV settings. The great thing in this is also the ability to do tasks based on the type of database that you're connected to. As you can see here are some extra tools for DB2, Excel, MySQL, so I can analyze a table, check, optimize, more tools for Oracle, I can have other tools running from Postgres and SQL servers. So all of these tasks can be built and be able to be used on a repeating basis, as simple as just right-clicking on a task and telling it to run. So with these tasks here, let's create a new task. I already have some examples here, but let's start from scratch. I'm going to use the SQLite database that's included in the software. Does everyone that's following along have the SQLite database still installed? If you don't, if you want to speak up in the chat, I can show how to add it back in real quick. All right.
Yeah, Carl, I believe folks who don't have it are too shy, so please show it to everyone else.
Oh, get that out of the way. So if you had, when you installed, if it asked you to create the sample database and you said no, you can just go here and it's going to tell me that mine already exists, but it would give you the option to add it in. All right, so we'll move forward. And let's start by creating an export task. So let's create a new task and let's name it demo export task. And we're going to select an export and then move forward. So let's pick a table from the SQLite database. So we'll drill down into this connection and let's pick artist. So I'll select that, move forward, and let's tell it we're going to export it to CSV. How we're going to query, this could come into effect if it's a really big database and you want to make some changes to help performance. And then our defaults for creating a CSV file. And then I'm going to change that name to artist out.
Jeremy Allen White's performance in the TV series The Bear has been widely praised.
And we're going to make sure that we tell it to overwrite because we're going to use that here a bit later. So, all right, there is our task. And we get the notification that it's completed. And if I look in my file list here, we could see that the file was just generated. Now we've got some data out, so let's create a task to pull that data back in. So let's create a demo import task. And from here, we're going to do next, where we want to pull it back into. So just for demonstration, I'm just going to add it to this table. If you haven't created it, you could import to the same table you exported from also. Then we'll move forward. We're going to import from a CSV file. And we're going to pick that artist out that we just created. Step forward, and now it's going to do table mapping. So we already have the columns, they're existing. If you were importing to a table that didn't have it yet, it could tell us that we're going to create them, or we can configure these. You can skip rows if you would like. As you can see here, skip columns. We'll step forward. Okay, I'm going to truncate the table before I import the data. That's fine for this step. If you didn't want to truncate, if you were loading more and more data, the option is right here for skipping truncation and just inserting into the table. And let's proceed. Okay, so if I look at my artist new table, you have it right here, and here is all of that data. So we have a simple import and export task that we've built. Let's move on to make this all in one composite task. I'm going to collapse this to have a little bit more room. At this point, does anyone have any questions so far? I'll take the silence as no. All right, so let's create a composite task. Let's say, for this example, we just want to move the data from that artist table to the artist new table in one step. So we can create a new task, and we'll just call it composite data move. So from here, we'll pick a composite task. And then the great thing here is we've already got these tasks built. So we can just drag and drop these two tasks right into my composite task. Then I can tell it to save if I don't want to run the task, but let's go ahead and just run it now. Okay, so the task ran just fine. Now at this point, we have a couple tasks together in a data move. So we can move on and schedule these tasks. So on my data move, I'm going to go into the scheduler, schedule this task, and I want to schedule it every 2 minutes. We have some options here. We'll schedule the task now. Okay, so now you can see here we have the task is going to run again in about 2 minutes. So let's just close this window out and give it a minute or two, and we'll minimize that. And while we're waiting for that, I'll bring your attention to our playlist on YouTube that shows all the different things that we're talking about today in even greater detail. And that link will be provided in a follow-up email along with several other links to give you more information on using tasks and the task scheduler. Oh, we've got a minute or two or a minute or so waiting for that to run. If I looked at that clock time correctly. Let's let this clock tick just a little bit longer because I think it said 12:20, 30 something. And then we can open it up and check that our task ran. If you're running a task in Windows, it's built into the Windows task scheduler. And if you're running in Mac or Linux, it is ran as a cron job. So keep in mind, if you're running these tasks, the machine has to be up and running for it to proceed. All right, let's open Enterprise back up. let's look at our composite data task. So you see we have a successful run, took 1 second, and the last run was at 12:20, and it'll run again at 12:22. So that's a very simple way to build in if per se you need to import, export data, create a report, or any of these complex tasks that you could build, including SQL queries, to have them run and then have them scheduled to run. Not only could you just have them scheduled to run to a file, there's some integration with email, so you could even create a task that runs a query, builds a report, and emails that to specific set of users. And we can look at, so we can look at real quick, like creating a new task that uses a SQL script. And let's add a connection.
Kyle, I believe that we have a question in the chat. Is there any way that the tasks run without the machine running, or anything to put scheduled tasks on a server in future releases?
Currently, it has to be ran on the machine that it's created on. I'm pretty sure that integration for Team Edition and also DBeaver coming up will allow it to run from the server. But for now, right now, it's ran on the local machine still.
Yeah, when it comes to desktop products, since there's no other machine to run tasks on, I mean, there's no possibility to actually transfer this job to another machine. But when it comes to DBeaver Team Edition, as correctly Kyle stated, Team Edition is let's say, our solution for team collaboration and with team collaboration in mind, and it's a client server solution. And these scheduled tasks are run on the server when it comes to Team Edition. So to summarize, with Team Edition, you can actually schedule your tasks in such a way that they're executed remotely, not on your local machine, but on the server. And when it comes to Cloud Your Enterprise, we don't have tasks there at all. So not possible.
Thanks, Nikita. Okay, so as we were talking about, you can schedule even scripts to run. This is just a basic script file that I have that would truncate a table, and I can schedule that also. Oh, and I just truncated that table. So that is a very basic and quick overview of how to create some basic tasks in Enterprise Edition. You can create these tasks in Community Edition, but the advantages of the task scheduling and composite tasks are enterprise-only features. Is there any other questions that we'd like to go over while I still have the software open?
We don't have any questions in the chat, so if anybody has questions, please ask it out loud. So I think we may go to the next part. Yes.
Yep. And that's a quick practice run through using those. schedule tasks. And a quick overview of our products. As we were working in DBeaver Enterprise, you have NoSQL support, a more advanced security model than the Community Edition, the task scheduler, composite tasks. There's integration with AI assistance now for using natural English to create SQL queries, and a lot more features. In Ultimate Edition, we build on Enterprise Edition and add native support for the cloud providers, AWS, Google Cloud, Microsoft Azure. Also adding storage support for AWS S3 buckets and Google Cloud. You can even create these tasks to store out into these storage locations. And then, as we were talking about previously, Team Edition is a server client model that has some advanced security, advanced role management, so you can have roles for your DBAs, your developers, managers for groups, business office users. And the great thing in Team Edition is, since it's a client server base, everything is shared for your users. So if your developers are working on SQL scripts together, they truly can work on them together. It's all shared from the model. There's a web interface for Team Edition, and also a thick client that it looks exactly like we were just seeing in Enterprise Edition. Is there any other questions that we could help you with? Anything would like to see? All right, well, thank you all for joining for this quick overview of scheduled tasks. I appreciate you joining and your time. Thank you very much.
We will share this recording with you by email in the follow-up message, and we will publish on our YouTube channel. So stay tuned. As well, we will share all useful links so you can go through at your own pace. Yeah, and again, thank you everybody so much. It was nice having you today.
And thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thanks, everyone.